In this third episode of Broker Breakdown, I'm talking to Cheri Benjamin, who's the CEO and owner of Village Realty in Atlanta. Village Realty has over 200 agents and 5 offices and quickly tripled in size after Cheri took over. In our conversation, we talk about some great topics ranging from how to help your agents stay top of mind with their former clients, not involving fridge magnets, how to attract agents to your brokerage 100% through referral and word of mouth, which Cheri has done, and also why it's so important to focus more on your agent's success and less on the success of your company, and why that leads to the best possible results. There's a lot of great content here, a lot to learn. Let's go ahead and check it out. All right, Cheri, well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, you're welcome. Happy to be here.
Yeah, no, I've been looking forward to our conversation. So I wanted to start off, we were chatting a little bit before the show, and you were telling me about your journey to get to the point where you are now with your brokerage. And there's a couple things that stood out to me that I want to start off with our conversation on here. So first of all, you were talking about, you ended up purchasing this existing brokerage. You had sort of a crash in agent count right off the bat, because obviously in the transitional moments, there's going to be some turmoil. Another thing that really blows my mind is it sounds like you tripled your agent count in about a year and a half after that. And you guys are significantly larger now than when you first take over the company. So tell me that story a little bit, because I think that's fascinating.
Yeah, no problem. So the company that I'm currently with, I was with a big box brokerage before and felt like a little bit of a number. Heard that there was this new company that was starting up in Atlanta. Friend of mine was going to be the managing broker of it. And so I just hounded her. I was like, when are you guys opening? When are you guys opening? Because I want to leave here because I just kind of feel like a number. And so I was their very first agent that they hired. Fast forward, get pregnant, need to start a team because of that. 40 and pregnant is horrible, just FYI. But so started a team from there, grew that out, and I got to the point of my team was basically a mini brokerage. I had 46 people at the peak on my team. So we were pretty much running as a mini brokerage. I was only using the brokerage just to process checks, basically. And if there was a fire that I honestly didn't feel like being bothered with, I send that to them to handle. So I approached them with this thing of, why don't we just look at a franchise? I looked at a bunch of different franchises out there and it just didn't quite fit for me. So I came up with this idea as to how their franchise should look and feel and all of that. And we sealed a deal. And I opened up one of their first franchise locations that they had. And then from there, I want to say probably, and the funny thing is I opened that up while I'm living in Vegas. So the brokerage is based out of Atlanta. So I wasn't even living there during the time, which was super scary, but I'm a little bit of a risk taker. So heck, whatever. Let's just do it, right?
Why not?
So,
Why not?
So I started that. And then I want to say probably about 6 months later, they told me they were considering selling. And they were looking at a bunch of different companies. They actually had some offers in from Reology and a couple of other companies. And they said, but it's going to change the culture of what we currently have. And we really don't want that to change. So we struck a deal and I bought it. And I bought it in October of 2019. And so in October 2019, my 46-ish agents, plus the rest of the agents that were there, we were at 118 total, which sounds really great. But by January, we were down to 6. Very different. So a lot of people don't really understand that whenever you make these shifts and changes, that expect your agent count to be affected by it. Anytime you introduce new stuff or you make large changes within a company, the agents kind of feel that. It's a little bit of instability to them. So it made them go, amongst other things, but it made them go. I don't think they clearly knew and understood the vision of where we were looking at taking Village. So today we sit a little over 250 agents, all within the Atlanta area. We're just now starting to expand out. We're waiting on licensing to finish up for Tampa. Obviously I live in Las Vegas, but there's like one agent down in Tampa right now because I literally just signed the lease last month. So that's it. Yeah. That's been our growth for it. It's been a ride. Let's just say that.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. I mean, there's several things there I'd love to sort of ask more about, but I mean, I think the one that stands out to me, obviously off the bat, is just not only growing that substantially, that fastly, but also doing that during COVID. I think
Oh,
depending on when you're watching this interview, I mean, we're still in it at this point, right? And it's obviously completely complicated the industry, and things shut down for a while, and then things got really crazy for a while. So, what did you do? I mean, because if I'm sitting out there listening to this, I'm thinking tripling your agent count during one of the hardest periods in the real estate market history. Were there some strategies? Were you running tons of ads? Did you have a bunch of recruiters? I mean, what did you do to attract that many agents in that time?
yeah. So no, there weren't any recruiters. We still don't have
Okay.
anyone that's like designated as the recruiter, for our
Really? Wow.
company. There weren't any ISAs. We did just hire one, so he's been with us for about a month now, but there weren't any before. We were super focused on how we treat our agents. I really looked at what I didn't get when I was at the big box brokerages. Prior to me owning Village, I did go and look at other franchises that are out there. I always believe in doing your due diligence. So you got to at least look at least 10 of them prior to. So I did all that, and I looked at what they did provide. What I think is toss it to the side. That's just fluff. No one's ever really going to use that, or it's what I call dusty. It's old. It's something that no one even uses, as a dinosaur, but they still think it's great.
Yeah.
Kudos to them.
Can you give me a quick example of something like that? I'm just kind of curious. Like, what are some of the things you're seeing out there that are that out of date?
That are out of date? Oh boy.
There's probably a lot,
I'm
right?
trying to think how I can say it without I don't like talking bad about other companies.
Fair enough.
So I'm trying to think of how I can say it without the listener I know exactly who she's talking about. Let's just say there's a lot of outdated things that us as agents don't currently use anymore that they think is fantastic, or they think it's fantastic, and it's something that is everybody has that now, dude. That's
Right. That makes sense. No, I've definitely seen that. Yeah, it's like, oh, we got these special tools.
We give our agents websites. It's like, so does everyone else.
Right.
And they're
I got you. That makes sense.
Got them on their own. Just little stuff like that. But I wanted to pay attention to what I felt as if was not given to me, and making sure my agents are able to thrive. I do real estate coaching, so it's really big for me to meet a person where they are, whoever they are, meet them where they are, where they're brand spanking new. And I know a lot of companies don't like brand spanking new agents. Hey, to me, we all started somewhere, but if I can affect you and meet you where you are and help you grow and then diversify your business to where no matter what happens if a recession comes back, right? We had a recession. There's a lot of people who got out the business. The people who won during the recession are those who understood foreclosures and short sales and were already in the midst of it, right? Those are the agents that really won during that time. So I'm really big on diversifying out your business, but a big thing is meeting the agent where they are and setting them up in order to thrive without knocking them upside the head with 30 or 20% that, after a while, an experienced agent, hey, everybody does their own thing, but
right.
Yeah, so that's been a big thing for me. Connecting with them. They don't feel like they're a number, treating them very well. My mindset is that our agents need to feel like it's Disney World. Have you been to Disney World?
I've been, yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Have you been to Disney World as an adult?
Yeah. Well, actually, I went to Universal Studios, I think, most recently, but it's not been that long. It's relatively older when I went, I think.
Did it take you back to being a kid again, and it was kind of cool?
Oh yeah, the nostalgia factor, right? You kind of go straight back to being that 10-year-old or whatever, right?
Yep. And that's my thing. So to our staff, Disney World experience is what our agents need to experience, even if we are in a virtual world. So I want you to want to be here. If I could go to Disney World every day, I'd be happy. We spend the most amount of times with our coworkers than what we do with our family if you look at the time period. So treat them well and make sure they're extremely happy when they're here. All of those agents that we have recruited until like the last 30 days have all been referral based.
Wow.
Our agents are the ones that are telling other people to bring them back, to bring them in. And it's mainly because I'm not focused on the company when we're looking at growth. I'm focused on the agent and how I can help you grow. And I think that's where a lot of the brokers miss the mark.
Gotcha. No, that's great. And I want to dig in on that a little more because, obviously you mentioned a lot of existing brokerages are probably offering a lot of things agents don't need, right? So what I want to talk more about is what do they need? Like if you were to strip out everything a broker currently offers and say, we're going to start from scratch and we're just going to include the components that are what the agents really need and sort of create this Disney experience, which I love that analogy. What are those essentials in your mind?
I need to be able to do solid marketing. One that looks good, that's very classy, that can transcend to any market. Friend of mine down in Florida, I remember about 3 years ago, she told me that she got a really big REO account, and she's a very big KW agent, but she told me she got a really big REO account because she treats those $40,000 houses the same way as she treats her $1 million houses, right? And that's fantastic, and I think a lot of agents don't do that. Like, you can't take camera phone photos and be at my company. You can, but you're not going to be here with us. There's a certain level of customer experience that I want to make sure agents really focus on, their client experience. Okay. So that's one thing is you need to have solid marketing. You do have to incorporate video. Now, Nick, you and I were talking about this before. I am not a great video person at all. I'm actually scared of the camera. If you ever look at like my social media, my Facebook, there's pictures of everyone else, but not me. I like to stay in the background type of person and let everyone else do the shining. And I just think it all trickles back on down to me. And I'm a pretty private person. So social media always felt like an invasion of privacy. I'm always like, why do you want to know?
Right.
Why do you want to know? That's how I've always felt.
I get that.
But I will bring in someone like a Jeff Fitzer or someone like you that can come in and teach. And you've taught our agents, so thank you, who can come in and teach our agents how to do video and how to do it effectively. Because that's really where we are right now. Your marketing, your videos, your all of that brings that business back to you. You have to have a solid CRM. And don't just get you something that is just the name and the phone number. You can really do that on a Google Doc or a spreadsheet. Have something that's giving you the reminders when you should call. And then you got to use it. Like most people won't ever use it. You have to be able to use it. You can go a long way. When I first started in this business, listen, I had no experience whatsoever. I came straight out of the Air Force. I was given 8x14 legal size paper, names, addresses, phone numbers. That's it. And I used a ruler and I went line by line by line. That's a cold call. That's what I had to do. And I remember my third month in the business, I closed 11 transactions from doing nothing but cold calling. Cold calling means you have no idea I'm about to call you. You didn't raise your hand. You didn't fill something out. There was no Zillow back then. All right. My email address was an AOL.com.
Classic, right?
Yeah, we're going way back. And I look at it and it's so funny. I think I've been in this business for 21 years. But it's not 21 years ago. It was not 1981. That's crazy, but in my brain, it still is. So I think a lot of people miss the marks on some of the things that did used to work that they can still do today. So internet leads or leads that come from different sources and different sites. To me, those are like taking candy from a baby because of how I started and what I had to do initially to gain a client.
Gotcha. Very cool. Well, so what are you seeing now? Obviously, cold calling is still a thing? Are your agents still using stuff like those sort of direct approaches, or are you finding success with other lead sources, or a lot of your agents get most of it just from nurturing their sphere? What have you seen work lately?
Well, for me, I always tell everyone I'm big on coaching to amplify your strengths and leverage out your weaknesses. So if you are a phone animal and you're a person who can just hit the phones and grab appointments, then that's what you do. That's what you do. You do it effectively. You dial in your CRMs. You do all that because that's how you are going to eat in the end and grow your business. Right. Now, the video part, the marketing part, all of that still has to be there. But there's people there's marketers out there that you can get from onlinejobs.ph. There's places you can get, and I think those are for overseas. They can help with your marketing. Right. We offer a design studio for our agents so they can go in and kind of create that. But if that's not something that they want to do, we have a concierge service that will go and create their marketing for them to push out. Wow. So, but if you are a marketing type of person, but you don't like the phone side of it, that's the other thing. Let's push out your marketing. You know how to do that very well. And let's work on you having an ISA or someone else that kind of schedules those things out. A really cool thing that our agents that build a referral-based business, a really cool thing that we've been pushing them to do is to start like their Facebook groups that are full of their clients, right? Those are your raving fans. Put it all in there. Put them all in there. Open your Facebook page. Stop being so private. Watch what you dang gonna say. Just be a decent human all the time, and it's kind of easy. Right. So watch what you say, yes, and I'm not talking about censoring people, but you attract your tribe. I believe that. Yeah. And have that Facebook group. In that group, it has your videos, it has your marketing, it has whenever you close something, you've got your raving fans. You say, hey, this person has just joined our tribe. Now you have everyone like, welcome. Nick is a fantastic agent. You are so lucky. We bought on this day and this time. But now you can have your events get posted in there too, right? So it's other ways for you to stay connected with your clients because most people are on some sort of social media, right?
Of course.
Your TikTok videos you can drop in there, all those little things that keep you top of mind with your clients to help your business grow.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I want to ask a follow-up on that because I think, we talk all the time about groups, right? Because the idea is, build a tribe of people, an audience that you can come back to over and over again. A lot of the conversations around groups are focused on building a group around a topic or a theme, but not around your own clients, right? It's about like, hey, St. Louis, like, I don't know, football fans, you know what I mean? And you try to get all them in, and then you get to know them, and then you try to attract them as customers. This is sort of the inverse of that, which I think is really interesting. So you're taking the people you already have the relationships with, and you're sort of getting them together so that they can get to know each other and build the relationships with each other as well, which is only going to strengthen your connection to them, right? So you're kind of, it's almost like you're working with what you have in a much more proactive way. So I just wanted to learn more about that strategy because I think it's really cool. I mean, is this something, so you start these groups and you try to get all of, is it just former customers? Is it like anybody you're connected to? Like,
no, it's customers, those that you want to become your customers, or anyone that your clients are referring to you.
Okay. Cool.
That way I stay top of mind with that. Now you gotta watch it. Some people I've seen them put like their vendors in there too. You just gotta watch it just a little bit when you're adding that. You can keep it to that little, and I've seen what you're talking about. I've seen people who do like a mom's group or do this or do that. That's another way of doing it.
Sure.
If you look at the numbers to where most people do not go back to their previous agent, because once the deal is done, that agent goes ghost.
Right.
They go ghost. Or I hear from you and I get a magnet once a year that you think you're staying top of mind with me, and you're not. So this is a very different way for you to stay very connected, and you can talk real estate in this group.
Oh, and,
when we call and follow up with people, we're traditionally not saying, hey, Nick, it sounds very 1950s salesman. Hey, Nick, just calling to check on you and your family. And if you have anyone that that wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, will you send them to me? I don't need to do that anymore. I don't need to sound like a 1950s salesperson. I'm constantly, you're seeing that I'm in real estate. You get exclusive rights to my new listings. You see what's coming up. You see the new people one thing I think people are missing is that people want to belong to something.
Right.
Right? And most agents don't create things for their clients to belong to that's bigger than that client. It's a community. So what you're growing is your community there that's led by you. And I'm going to just tell you, like, the agents that are doing this are nailing it and knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
I mean, it's constant referrals to where I have an agent that I've coached through this process who listens to everything. It's like the agent that we all love that
right.
I tell you to do it and she does it, type of thing. And she does it exactly the way, but she's nailing it on YouTube now. And those YouTube videos go straight into there, and then her people share it from there.
Oh, okay.
So she sends it to her database. They're on a drip on her database. They're also on her Facebook group, and they love her so much that they then share it. So the amount of shares she's getting just on her video and the numbers that she's getting, it's crazy. Your market updates. I can drop that once a month for the previous month market update. There you go. I've just told you I'm still in real estate. This is the real estate for your area. That's there. That's probably her number one thing that her clients are actually sharing outside of her events that she throws.
Wow. That's incredible. Yeah. There's a lot there. I mean, we could probably have a whole conversation about that particular strategy, right? Because that's really smart. I have a couple other questions on other things. I do want to move on from that, but that strategy is really, really good. So here's my next question, kind of related, is so you're talking about leaning into strengths, right? Sort of finding the thing that you are already doing and you're doing it well and doing more of it. And obviously coaching your agents on that approach is really a big part of how you've attracted so many. Let me kind of put it this way. Let's say you have a new agent, right? Somebody that hasn't necessarily tried a bunch of different marketing techniques and hasn't necessarily explored all that. Do you encourage them to go out and try a bunch of things first to figure out what their strength is going to be? Or what process do you use to kind of determine where they should put their time and effort?
New agents a little bit difficult for that when you say brand new, just because they know nothing.
Right.
They come to you with a bucket full of dreams and that's it. And they watch, Millionaire Real Estate Agent or something like that. Right. That's what they expect, their first month in business. And then they realize that it's work. So we get to, when a new agent comes to us, yes, we do set them up on different things in order for them to be successful, different lanes for them to try.
Okay. It's
a little bit of the fundamentals and the basics is where we start them off on. Yes, you do start off a social media campaign. We're not putting a lot of dollars or money towards it, but we do have them being consistent on their social media. We do have you set up a CRM. We do have you doing open houses. We do have you, once you get your first little client, it might just be one. And some people will think, I can't start this and I have one. Well, why can't you? You're your first client. It's a husband and a wife. That's two people. Fantastic. Throw your mom in there. I don't care who else you throw in there.
Right.
And then as you grow, you put more people in there, because if you let them know this is my community I'm looking at building, it's something that's bigger than them, something that's bigger than you, and people really, really want to help, So we do have them start off with the basics and work those simple basics. 5 is where we start them off with, that they have to do consistently each week. Okay. And we're very big on getting their calendars, their schedules down so that we can get some consistency with them. Excuse me. And that's how we start them off.
Gotcha.
Not things that have to be a big budget, none of those things at all, but that's how we started off. Because I remember being a brand new agent with no money. Mm-hmm. I don't have the money to put $500 a month to the side. No, I need an additional $500. $50 a month or whatever my desk fee or office fee was a struggle to then turn around and do more. That's too much. That would have been too much for me.
Right.
So we try to encourage a lot of the free things for them to do first.
Cool. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And obviously, as they try these different things, they're going to start to find the sweet spot and the thing that kind of works. And what one
They do.
aspect
And
of
one of the things is that everybody's got one of these,
right.
right? They come to us, but they have one of these. You've got a camera. Turn it on. Turn it on. Drop it in. The things that you learn right now, shoot a video on it.
Right.
You might think it's something that is, oh, no, I might sound silly. No, what you're doing is you're helping your community that you're attempting to build because they don't know those things. You know, just by getting your real estate license and everything you've learned, you know so much more than what the average consumer learns. I mean, knows that you're that further ahead of them. So use that. Turn that camera on and use that.
I love it. I always love the video plug, so I'll reiterate.
I know.
that's the good stuff right there. And that's a great point, right? I mean, most people have a 4K camera at this point in your pocket, and it's the most effective form of communication we currently have available. So, I mean, you can do a lot with a phone, and I mean, there is a cost. You got to buy the phone, obviously, but we all have a phone already, so it's all free at that point, and it's a great way to get in front of people. So I said I was going to move on from the group thing, but just one small question. What do you have the agents call the group? Is it, fan club, or what would you use as the name?
It's up to them. It's up to them. I like them to use whatever they're going to use as their branding. So it's really up to them as to, it's not really a fan club, but whatever.
I was kidding about the fan. I don't know. I would want to go out and say, hey, you're my fans.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Some of them are cool and some of them are like, okay, but it's whatever they want to call it. I'm really big on them being authentic to themselves because that's what attracted their clients too.
Right.
So there's not a specific thing for that.
Cool. Love it. Well, let's talk. We are getting low on time here, but I do have another question about the recruiting side of this. You mentioned that pretty much everybody coming in was a referral, right? So you've got all these agents, and they're obviously, agents are connected to other agents, so they're going to refer their friends and whatnot into you. But did you do anything, tell me about that process, right? Because I think obviously any business owner wants to get as many referrals as I think most of us want to get as many referrals as we possibly can, right? Was that strategic? Were you encouraging people to refer? Was there any sort of incentive to do so? Was it natural? And if so, how did you make that happen?
No, there's incentives to do so. But we do give a Tesla away once a year.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not bad.
That's not too bad. Yeah. But it's drawn if you recruit or refer 25 agents. And when we say refer, we mean they actually came on board for at least 90 days.
Okay.
So if you refer 25 agents in the calendar year, then you automatically get it. It's on a lease, but you get it for 3 years. We do a 3-year lease for it. Or just by doing one, your name gets put into a drawing at our yearly award ceremony. We draw someone out. It was so cool this past year. The guy just got engaged. They just had a baby. They just moved from California all the way there. And it's funny because we filmed it and the wife was like, you just did what? So it was awesome. That part was awesome. But we also do different masterminds, different retreats, a lot of different things because like I said, we're very focused on the agents thriving because if they thrive, we do also.
Right.
So we do a lot of different things for them throughout the year that makes it easy for them to invite people to it. So that's kind of how we do it to where it's not so in your face, very direct, all of that. I think a lot of people forget that it takes 14 touches to recruit an experienced agent. 14 times. So how many times are you getting in front of them outside of, hey, Nick is my friend. He loves it over here. I'm going to go. No, what happens is, hey, Nick is my friend. He loves it over here. I'm watching them. Right. I want to see what they're doing for him. I want to see if his business is growing from it. Does he have any complaints? Can he get a hold of anyone at any time? That's what an experienced agent does because most of us, we want more experienced agents than what we want for brand new agents. Right. It increases our liability and a lot of other things. So yeah, and you got to treat your people well. Put them first and everything else trickles on down.
Love it. Yeah, and that's obviously the recurring theme here. You treat people the right way and they're going to want to come to you and stay as a part of the business. So that's awesome. I mean, I love, the gamification of that. It's obviously incentivized. You're also making the process as easy as possible, sort of facilitating with the events and the retreats and everything. So makes a ton of sense. I can see at least a little bit better how you've been able to triple in such a short amount of time. So that's really awesome. Well, that does bring us sort of to the end of our time here, Cheri. So I wanted to ask if you could two versions, because I know you do some coaching, and I'm sure for the people that are listening, there's probably a couple agents out there like, I like what she's saying, I want more. And then also obviously for the brokerage and somebody being able to come work with you. So is it, how do they reach out to you? Is it the same way, or do you can share both forms of contact with us now?
Oh, sure. Well, thank you. I wasn't expecting that, but yes, I mean, they can always call me. We do acquire other brokerages. I mainly coach broker owners, just so that we're a little bit clear on that, because my brain is fit to scale. So it's not so much either a large team or a broker owner, if it's for coaching or if you're or mentoring per se. But it's Cheri Benjamin, Cheri spelled Cheri, and Benjamin looks like Benjamin. No, I'm just kidding. B-E-N-J-A-M-I-N. Yeah, it does look like that, doesn't it? But you can catch me on Facebook. You can always call me. I'm Cheri, Cheri, at V like Victor, R like Romeo, ATL.com. So Cheri at VRATL.com. Or you can call my main line. It's 404-965-4080. And you can catch me there. I'm extension 7012.
Very cool. All right. Well, Cheri, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been great.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Thanks, Nick, for having me.
Of course, yeah. And for those of you tuning in, we appreciate you joining us for this episode of Broker Breakdown, and we hope to see you again on the next one. We'll talk to you then.